Okay, we're back one more time with Grazel, and we're going to be talking about the holiday season because it's a hard time of year for a lot of people. Um, Grazel, how can people navigate this season when their mental health isn't great?
Yes, boundaries is it's so important, crucial in the holiday season. I think really learning what sets you off and knowing that if there's a family member or a friend or a situation that can activate any past trauma or any unpleasant feelings, I think it's really good to spend your time in an environment that is soothing for you and really preparing how to set those boundaries. Like, what kind of approach can you share to yourself that would work in sharing to other people that needs to hear it?
Yeah, it's interesting you say boundaries is important because I guess if you're struggling with anxiety or depression or um, kind of neurodiverse issues, if you've got ADHD or autism or whatever, there's so much expectation around the holidays. There's expectation to meet with your family, there's expectation to meet with your friends, there's expectation to give gifts, to spend all your money that you work so hard to earn on other people, and it just gets it can feel very, very pressured. How can someone in that situation sort of test the waters with setting some boundaries and saying, no, actually, this isn't good for me. I'm not going to do this bit.
Yeah, I think especially for people who are neurodivergent, knowing that the holiday events can be overly stimulating, it is important for them to, if they're going to spend holidays where it's going to be overly stimulating for them, to set a time limit. Like, let's say I can only spend time with family in this environment for 2 hours max. I think that's a good, gentle boundary to set for yourself and say to your family members, I can only spend time for 2 hours, so I'll be going for dinner and then probably, eat dessert, and then I have to take some rest. Okay. Now, if you would like to spend more than that, but it can be overly stimulating for you at the max 2 hours, then maybe it's going to be really good for you to bring something that can soothe you, like fidget toys, any sensory objects that will make you feel soothed. Knowing how to take breaks in between, events throughout the night or throughout the day, going for a walk, making sure you're attending to yourself. I think those are good, gentle boundaries to set.
Yeah, and having that self-awareness of knowing I know that I need to take a break now is another huge step as well, isn't it? Um,
Yes.
what about on the flip side where someone doesn't have parties to go to, they don't have friends, they don't have family, that it's going to be it's a very lonely time of year for a lot of people. So how can
Mhm.
one deal with those feelings?
Yes, I think it is. First, I want to share that there are a lot, like you said, there are a lot of people that experience the holidays very lonely and can be very isolating because they don't have family members or friends around. I think it's really important to find a community, even if it's a small community. It can be one person or two people, even if you don't know them very well, like maybe perhaps visiting a congregation or a community that's very welcoming. Um, I th I think it would be really good to find something like that so that you can feel a little bit less lonely. It doesn't necessarily mean that your loneliness will go away in groups of people, but at least you're not alone thinking about and feeling the loneliness by yourself.
And with loneliness, I think it's quite insidious because when you are alone, you start to get this view of yourself, and then it becomes more difficult to actually engage in any kind of social situation. And then that cycle can just exacerbate itself. Um, do you have any tips for someone kind of getting over that hurdle and saying, working up the courage really to get out there and go and meet some people.
Yes, I think as soon as the loneliness shows up, befriend with your loneliness, right? Like befriend your loneliness is what I'm saying. I think it's a sign that your loneliness is saying if it's feeling really intense, it's time to reach out.
Mm.
I know how hard it is to reach out in that state of being. I think that's when you actually push and use that feeling of loneliness to propel you to reach out. That's the power of emotions. The power of emotions is to tell you that you need something,
Mm.
right? So when we don't acknowledge that we have emotions, it's really hard to name what we need.
Yes.
So emotions show up because it's wanting to be seen. And if the loneliness is wanting to be seen, that means it doesn't want to be alone.
Yeah, that's a really good kind of feedback tip, I guess. If you're feeling something, there's a reason for why you're feeling it, and it might be you're being prompted to go and take an action.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. So again, thinking about it from another type of person, if someone notices that there's someone maybe in danger of being lonely, um, like what sort of signs could they look for someone that they might need to offer some support to?
Yes, I think that's a great question. If you know someone that you care about and probably had a really rough year or lost someone or is going through some type of grief, I think it's so important for you and or I encourage you to reach out to that person because that person is probably not having any motivation in life to reach out and ask for help. So it would be good for you to take the initiative to reach out. The warning signs to look for is probably when you haven't heard from the person for a while. They're not responding to any texts or any reach that you're attempting to do so that they can get engaged with you. Um, Not hearing from from them in a way that is concerning, um, I wouldn't wait long. I think I would reach out right away.
Yeah, and the person on the other end of it is probably more than appreciative of the effort because they might be feeling forgotten and abandoned and all that kind of thing. So, um,
I
yeah.
think there's one important thing that for people that are trying to support those who are going through intense grief,
Mm.
um, it requires a lot of patience. If the person that's going through the grief and is isolated, not responding to you, don't give up right away.
Mm.
It's just part of their process. It's really hard to find the motivation to respond. The isolation can take them really dark places, and it's hard to get out of that darkness in moments, especially the holidays.
Yeah.
So be patient. Um, Keep reaching out. Don't give up on the first attempt. Don't give up on the 10th attempt.
Mm.
Just let them know you're there and that you're thinking of them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. So last sort of type of person, um, if you're a couple and you're going to a family gathering, as lots and lots of people are, they tend to get a little bit emotionally charged, especially if there's alcohol involved. So, how can couples kind of have each other's back if things start to turn a little bit stressful or not so nice?
Yeah. What I advise couples or anyone, individuals going to a holiday party is that if you know who you're going to be spending time with and you know that it can get rowdy,
Hmm.
it's important for you to tell yourself, I need to leave at a certain time when things get rowdy.
Hmm.
So for a couple, let's say, father-in-law, mother-in-law, whoever it is, or their own parents is are getting rowdy. Um, it's good to plan with your partner ahead of time about an exit.
Yeah.
Like plan what's our, exit plan, right? And so that you're not having to plan when it's happening.
Yeah. And then you can say, if so and so says this, and I say it's time to leave, we just leave. And then you're both on the
Yeah.
same page, and there's no, oh, it's my mum, she didn't mean to say that, blah, blah, blah.
Yes. I
Yeah.
think it's really good to look at previous events that have caused distress and looking at if this previous event can happen again, how are we going to proceed with an exit plan so that it doesn't affect us in a way that we're fighting during the holiday.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those are all great tips, and I hope people find them helpful. Um, have a wonderful holiday season this year, and we'll see you in the new year.
Thank you. Happy holidays.